Hi, third graders. It's Mrs. Fernandi. We're going to do a little bit more word work together. Today, we are going to talk about base words and their endings again. So the first thing we're going to do is share my PowerPoint with you. So here we go. Our first word that we're going to look at today is the word stir. And when we see a word and we want to think about its endings, we need to ask ourselves a couple of questions. The first question we're going to ask ourselves is there one vowel? And in stir, there is one vowel. Can you name it? Yep, the I. Our second question then, if that one is yes, we're going to ask ourselves, is there one consonant after the vowel? Now, clearly, there are 3 consonants in the word stir, ST at the beginning, but after the vowel, there's only one, and that's the letter R. So again, our answer is yes to this question. So we've answered yes to questions 1 and 2, and now we ask ourselves, then will we double the R? Will we double the consonant? If we've answered yes to, is there one vowel, and is there one consonant after the vowel, the answer is yes to both of those, and the answer is going to be yes to the third. So stir becomes stirred, and stir becomes stirring. Both of those, we doubled the R first. Now we have another one. This time our word is explore. Now because explore doesn't end in a consonant, we're going to first ask ourselves about that silent E instead. Is there a consonant and then a silent E at the end? And in fact, there is. The consonant is R and the silent E comes after it. So then what should we drop? Well, if we want to make explore into exploring, we know what we need to drop. We need to drop that silent E. And then we're going to add the ing to make that exploring. Now, if we wanted to say that this boy and his monkey explored last year, in other words, in past tense, we are going to go ahead and leave the E there, and we're just going to go ahead and add a D. So explore becomes exploring, becomes explored. Okay, last one of these. Our next word is the word braid. Now, there's no silent E, so we ask ourselves that first question, is there one vowel? Nope, there are 2 vowels, right? There's A and I. When A and I go walking, the first one does the talking, so the long A sound that we hear comes from that. Will we double the D then? No, if we can't even get to the second question with a yes, then we know we're just going to leave it as a single consonant at the end. And what are we going to do? We're just going to go ahead and add the ing to make braid into braiding, or add ed for our for past tense. So she braided her hair yesterday. Braided. Okay, so go ahead and get your pencil and your notebook out. If you forgot to grab those, then pause the video now and go ahead and grab those. And while you do that, I'm going to share my whiteboard with you. We're going to do some guided spelling now. We're going to do a fair bit of guided spelling. I'm going to start way over here on my whiteboard. And the very first word I'd like you to spell is the word October. Now, one of the first things I know about October is that it's the month, it's the day, it's the name of a month. So whenever we have the name of a month, we need to capitalize the first letter. So I'm going to go ahead and capitalize the O. When we have the K sound at the end of a syllable and we know another syllable is on its way, we're going to use the C. That's our first syllable. Toe, open syllable. It ends in the vowel, and it's a long vowel, T-O, long O. And then burr, we know that the sound from last time, there are 3 ways to make E-R, I-R, and U-R. The most common way is the first one, and it's the way we do it always at the end of a word. So burr is B-E-R. The next word you're going to spell is 40. Now remember, we talked about this last time. There are 4 letters to the word for. We keep that same thing when we're talking about 14. We keep the same thing when we're talking about, we're 4th in line. But when we're going to go for 40, we're going to think about the mnemonic, that memory device. Think about our 40 forks on the table. So we just go down to the OR, 40, just like the OR in forks. So 40 is that word. The next word is before. So before is 2 syllables. B, long E sound. That's the open syllable. So that's the BE. And then for, we hear the or sound, but it's at the end of the word. Do you remember the rule for or at the end of the word? Yes. O-R-E. Right? We're going to have that E most of the time at the end of a word. The next word is north. Now we can hear that or sound in the middle of a word. We are not going to use that E or the TH at the end there. And our next one is spark. Spark is the R sound, which is the A-R. That's the spelling there, sp, S-P, and then R. And then at the end of a word, that's that single syllable word, and we hear the R before and the K after, we're going to use the letter K, spark. Our next word is sliding. She was sliding down the banister. The base word is the word slide. So we know that has an E, so we ask ourselves if what we do when we have a silent E and it only has one consonant before, we're going to remove that silent E, and we're going to add the I-N-G. The next word is nursing. Same idea. We need to think of our base word first, and the word is nurse. And the sound, it is not the first ER, it's not IR, it's the third way. It's that UR spelling. Nurse. And then remember we said that we use that silent E sometimes just after an S so that something doesn't look like it's plural. So just because it's for a different reason, we still need to get rid of the silent E and add ING. So it doesn't really matter why we're using the silent E, we're still going to use the same rules about the silent E. The next word is search. Do you remember this from last week? Search has that very unusual spelling, E-A-R, and then the ch sound. And the next one is worse. She feels worse today than yesterday. That is another unusual spelling for It's not the first, second, or third. It is good, W-O-R. And then S, and then the E to help it not look like a plural word. Okay, perfect. Let's do a few more. Let's come over this way. Let's change our font color and go ahead and start. And our first word this time is torn. I am torn between chocolate chip cookies and ginger cookies. I like them both. Torn, T-O-R, not an E because it's the middle. We have a consonant after it. So we're just going to use the O-R, torn. And the next one is one of my favorite words, teaching. So in teaching, we have the E sound in the middle. That's going to be made with an E-A. The E is going to say its name because the A is following right after. We have teach. There are really no questions to ask ourselves because there are two vowels in the middle, the E and the A, and there are two consonants at the end. So the only thing to do here is just to add the ING. Easy peasy. And the next word after teaching is large. Now, see if you can remember this. This is la-r. There's that, oops, there's that AR sound. And the j. How, do you remember what we do to keep that from saying larg? How do we make that G say the soft j sound? You got it. We are going to add an E at the end, large. That is our reason for that. With horse being the next word, horse, we have that OR and the S we can hear. Now, in order for that not to look very strange with an S at the end, because our brains want to say it's plural, we're going to go ahead and add an E to the end there for horse. Okay, we are going to do a couple more. The next word is climbed. Now remember, climb is a really old word in the English language. It used to have what at the end that now is silent. People used to say, climb. I climbed the tree. And then we want to make it past tense, so we're going to add, you're right, ed, climbed, climbed. And then how about the word 14? We know how to spell 40 now, 44 because it's the OR, but 14, we need to go back to the thought that the number 4 is spelled with 4 letters. So we're going to first write that, 4, F-O-U-R, and then we're going to write teen after that with that long E sound being made by 2 E's in a row. Okay, ready for something a little, oh, I just said it, something a little more challenging. Something are 2 words, some and thing, not the kind of sum that we use in math, but the kind of sum we use the rest of the time. And that is really a sight word. We really just have to remember. And then thing is, of course, super easy for you guys. TH and then ING. Now I'm going to give you a really hard word. The word is supposed. I was supposed to finish my chores. Supposed. So I'm going to just think about that base word, suppose. Do you hear the two P's? Sup in the first syllable, pose in the second. Makes it a ton easier to spell. Go ahead and write the first syllable, sup. You can hear every sound easily. Up. And then we're going to divide it because there are two P's right between the P's. So in the second syllable, I want you to write pose. Makes it so much easier. We've got the P, O, and then pose almost sounds like a Z. It is an S, and we're going to use the silent E for that O to say its long name. Now, if I was supposed to do it yesterday, what do we need to add to the ending? Yeah, we need to put a D there. Okay, super. All right, that is it for this time. I think we are going to stop right there. Next time I see you, it'll be time for a little test. So make sure you rewatch the videos if you need to, do a little more practice, maybe share it with your families, and keep writing those words and thinking about the rules that I shared. And I will see you next time, and stay well and stay safe.